Masai Ujiri, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. How is your feeling going into training camp 2019-20 compared to what it was this time of year?
Great question. Very different. I think last year, I think when we did this press conference, I think I was sitting with Kawhi and Danny. I'm sitting all alone now. I'm lonely. No, it's we're excited. We're excited about our season, and obviously Kawhi decided to go to play with the Clippers, and our team moves on. We're excited about our young players. We're excited about our veteran players, and you continue to build in this league. And I know this question is coming. I'll say it off the bat. You know that I can't sit here and trade DeMar and then Kawhi leaves us and be upset because that's just the nature of the business, and we understand it, and we move on as an organization. And I think there are many bright spots with our team, whether it's our veteran players, whether it's our players coming up, and the younger group that we're developing. We're always going to be a developing team. I think we can see that with Pascal, Fred, Norm, these young guys that we've developed. So we go in confident about who we are as a team. And we're excited about the flexibility that we're going to have in the future, picks, young players, and we go from there.
To Bruce, who's now right to the right.
Masai, Bruce right there from the Toronto Star. Given how you're coming off a championship season and given how you've lost at Kawhi, as you said, what do you consider to be realistic expectations for this team going forward? And looking at this season with big decisions potentially on whether you keep expiring contracts or move them, what do you want to get out of this season going into the end of the year in 2020?
First of all, you know, I think the expectations always in sports is to win. We play sports to win. There's nothing else. We can do all the dance we want, say whatever we want, rebuild, blah, blah, blah. Anything you do, you play sports to win. It's that simple. And we're playing to win. You build from there. You see how your team reacts. I think guys are going to step up. I think guys are up for the challenge. And for me, the focus always on our team is always going to be winning. We said this from the beginning when we got here, and we believe in that this team will win. And I think it rests on my shoulders to adjust whenever we need to adjust this team to prepare us for what's coming in the future.
Doug, who is on the left.
Hi, Masai. Doug Smith, the Toronto Star. We saw a huge jump from Pascal last year. Who do you expect or hope to get that kind of incremental increase from this year?
I think Pascal will make another jump. I think Freddie's is really coming. He showed some really good leadership in the summer with development. And then OG had a very unlucky year, I think, last year, and he's had a very good summer, and pre-season in terms of just training before today. We're excited about that. We're excited about Chris Boucher, all the young players. I think Nick Nurse and our coaching staff really do a great job of taking advantage of the summer and how these guys develop, whether it's physically or skill-wise, and emphasis on shooting, which I think Nick is very big on. So all of the young guys were very excited about Pat Macau. He had a little bit of an unlucky year too last year. Both of those guys had unfortunate deaths in their families, and then very untimely injuries right when they were on the cusp of getting into contributing to this team. So there's a refresh on their minds, and I think they'll be in a good place.
We're going to go to Ryan, who is second row in the middle there.
Hey, Masai, Ryan McNeil, Athletes Unfiltered. You had some time in Africa this summer. When you think back on your time in Africa this summer, what are some highlights that stick out for you?
It was really a really unbelievable journey to go to visit 8 countries on the continent. But I think the 2 biggest ones were going back to where I grew up, the basketball court that I grew up. I think that just to see people there and how I grew up, and to see where I am and where my family is today, that was really amazing for me. To go to Mogadishu, I think, was and Juba in South Sudan. That was really cool. To go, that was awesome to go and see those people and how they live and their culture, and try and give back a little bit. As I'll remember that for the rest of my life, and I'll go back to those places.
To Miriam, who's down front in the white.
Miriam from CBC Radio-Canada. Do you expect your guys to be mentors to the younger, newer guys? And if so, how do you expect them to be those mentors to them?
Well, I think Kyle, Serge, and Gasol really showed maturity in the playoffs last year. The roller coaster that this game can bring is incredible. And I thought those guys showed unbelievable composure as veteran players, and I think it's going to transfer into this year. You saw the contributions from all of them, and you saw the camaraderie between all the players on our team. All the young players look up to these guys, and it's been a journey. It's come from experience. It's come from spending time together. It's come from trust, and I think Kyle, Mark, and Serge have built that. And I think that's one of the things that makes this team unique, that you speak to them in the summer, and there were times when we were low, and those veteran players they were always calm, they were always confident, and reassuring for the young players, which we really appreciate as an organization and even as a team.
To Eric Kareen, who's about 3/4 of the way back into your left.
Hey, Masai. Bruce asked about the expiring contracts you might have to make a decision on at some point in the year. Do you view Kyle's situation as any different than anybody else's, just because of sort of his history with the franchise and what he's meant over the years?
No question. I think Kyle has an incredible legacy here that I think we all have underrated. I think we've had our ups and downs and bumps and grinds, but the inner core of who he is as a player and what he's done in this franchise, he definitely deserves that. I think there's legacy status for him, in my opinion. Somebody that has given it his all, 5-time All-Star while we've been here. I think we could have been a 6-time All-Star. That first one was a close shave, and we were all disappointed. I remember exactly where I was when we heard. But everything he's given, we can say all what we want about Kyle. He comes and he gives it his all on the court, and he'll give me a headache once a month, but that's fine. You know, like that's our relationship, and I really respect him for that. And we'll always pay Kyle, I think, that respect. What he's done for this city, for this ball club, I think is remarkable. You all know, we're sitting here, as many of you here, we all know. We sat down here 6 years ago, and we will never write this script this way, in any way, any form of dreams or anything. And this is where it is, and I'm proud of him for that.
So we're going to the very back there, Masai, on your left.
Hey, Masai, Miles Dichter, CBC Sports. What do you see in Pascal that could help him become the #1 guy?
He's just become a diverse player that I think a very dynamic player that continues to grow. He's going to have more on his shoulders, I think, this year, and I think he accepts that. He knows that there is a responsibility, and he's up for the challenge, I think, every day. We've seen his game continue to grow, and he will have ups and downs, and this season I think, is a good season for him to actually grow as a player, to potentially get to where we all feel he can be as a player, which I think, you know, could be one of the best players in the league.
To Ian, who's down front, and to your left, Masai in red.
So there was a lot of movement around the NBA this summer. How would you assess the contenders to the title that you guys currently hold? Who do you see as the teams coming to try and take it away?
There's a lot of parity in the league, I think, but I think it's a good thing for the league. Lots of teams, I think, if you say who's going to come out of the East, I think it's a question. I think for the first time, it's a question who's going to win the NBA championship. I don't think anybody knows. I don't think anybody knows who's going to come out of the West. There are very, very strong teams there, and there's good balance of the players. I think, unfortunately, with the injuries of Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, those guys are like big-time players, but I'm sure they'll be back strong. But the balance of the league, I think, is great, and it will be interesting to see. I think people pay attention to more games this year than we have been in the past few years.
Down front to the right here, Masai.
Hi, Natalie
Hi.
from CBC News. I was just wondering, are there any players right now in the league that you have your eyes on? Can we expect any surprises this season in terms of someone you might want to bring on?
I can't talk about that publicly. We are always looking everywhere for players, and I can't be giving away no secrets now.
Scott? Solid. Thank you.
Hey, Masai, Scott from CTV News. Normally when a team wins a championship, it's a big deal for a city and its fans. Obviously last year what you guys did was big for the country and beyond. Was there a moment over the summer where you realized the enormity of what you and the team achieved?
It's really a good question, because I haven't watched anything. I haven't seen anything. I haven't rewatched anything. But I will say this: my parents are in town for their checkups, and they were at the house and they were watching the parade with my wife and the kids, and I was doing stuff around, and then they watched the highlights, kind of the story, the journey on one of the channels of, I don't know whether it was YouTube or something, and I was walking past and I watched it. I stood and I watched for a couple minutes, and honestly, it just brought back an incredible feeling, you know, like, and I can't wait maybe to one day just lock myself in the basement or something and watch it all. But I haven't even, the summer has been so fast, and just to see, you know, you see those highlights and you see those guys like sweating and bumping fists and being so tough. And I actually looked at the screen for that second, and I said to myself, that was incredible. You know, that was really incredible, and sometimes I beat myself up for not really maybe enjoying it as much during the journey, but in our positions, honestly, you can't.
To William, who's about 3/4 of the way back on your right.
Hey, Willow, Yahoo Sports Canada. You mentioned Pascal potentially taking another leap this coming year. How does that factor into a potential contract negotiation and extension?
We've had conversations. We've had conversations with Pascal's representation, and we're excited. We're excited whether it's going to be this fall or whether it's going to be in the summer. He's somebody we're definitely going to keep for a long time here, and we see what the potential of that could be. We've had conversations with them, and we'll see where that takes us.
Any other questions from Masai? No? Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.